Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to Let's Play with Red Bastard for Europa Universalis 4. We are playing as Yarkand, and we're trying to see what we can accomplish with a Yar-can-do attitude. Buckle in, the horrid puns won't stop there, and they'll probably get worse. Where we left off with Yarkand, we had been sandwiched between the Timurids and Ming, both of which were hostile to us, and now both of which are neutral entirely. We've swallowed up some territory from Chagatai, but been able to beat up on Uzbek. And that's going to be our next goal. And I'm not sure exactly how we're going to get there, but one promising opportunity would be attacking the Chagatai in 2 years and drawing Uzbek in that way, isolating them, taking some money, possibly a couple provinces, and then continuing that. With any luck, Timurids will begin to fall apart, and when we face them, they'll be much weaker than they are at present. So I think that's our big goal for the moment. We can't expand eastward because Ming is there. Oirat, Kurdel, and Sergiyogir are our allies for the time being. Mostly that was to ward off an attack by Ming or from the Timurids. If we can get down into India, I would really like to do so, but right now there's the big problem with Timurids having vassals of Multan and Ladakh. They didn't take Kashmir, and I can see that Ladakh is very much hostile to the Timurids and would like to get their independence. Timurids are fighting against Muscovy, Pskov, and Perm, and they do have some pretender rebels. I think they'll be able to recover from that, but hopefully this will start the beginning of the end for them. They do have a very large army. One of our main goals in the medium term will be to capture Samarkand, and that will allow us to get a lot more money. So, without further ado, we are going to continue as Yarkand. And I think we should probably start a spy network against Yarkand. And hopefully they will get themselves into a war. Somebody like Nogai, Kazan, Timurids, or potentially even Muscovy. I doubt they yet have a border with Muscovy, but we can't see that far, so I'm not sure exactly how everything is breaking down in regards to Kazan. I would guess that Muscovy is invading Kazan. And that is a correct assumption. We can choose to lose some money and make the merchants like us more, and that is better than losing stability and making the merchant guilds like us less. And we'll just ask for that money right back. We don't get all of it, but that's enough to make me happy. And I really should have done a sound test before I began recording. I think we're going to top off relations with our allies, as I find it very unlikely that Timurids would try to attack us right now. The relations are above 100, and they have a royal marriage with us. They are fairly close to wanting us as an ally. If they switch over to friendly relations, we could grab them as an ally, and I would be eager to do that in order to take out Uzbek. And then, as Timurids disintegrate, we would step in and swallow up everything we could. we just lost our spy here in Uzbek. I wasn't paying as close attention to him as I should have. But that's probably not all that important. Delia likes us quite a bit. We don't have the favors we need to call them into a war. We do have the favors we need to call Oirat into a war. Unfortunately, we don't have the trust we need. But our truce with Chagatai is about to expire, and I'd like to get into position to declare a war, and we'll see what our options are. I think we are going to recruit a general, and he isn't great. 3 fire and 1 shock. I would like a lot more shock this early in the game. And siege is always very nice. And so we're going to pull this guy back from Delhi and see what would happen if we were to declare war on Chagatai. So Uzbek would come in, Oirat would come in, and we could offer Karadel some territory. We would backstab them on that, which could have long-lasting consequences. We'd have 25,000 troops versus Uzbek's 25,000 troops. So I think Karadel would be actually somebody we would want here in this war. So let's make them a promise that we do not intend to honor. I guess we could give it to them if push comes to shove, and just take a lot from Uzbek. Regardless, we are moving out. Should look at tech. So Uzbek has 4, Chagatai has 4, we have 4, and we're getting closer and closer to 5. And that was a nice stack wipe. I don't like the fact that Uzbek is probably going to march towards our capital while we are dealing with Chagatai. But I have every confidence in our war effort. Excuse me. Sorry about that. We have to have a Yar-can-do attitude after all. And I see something very surprising, that Uzbek is sending an army over without a leader. They're split up their armies, so they have 7,000 troops or so somewhere else. And a lot of cavalry. This army will hit hard, but if we can get them to suffer any attrition on our lands and hit them while they don't have a leader, that could work well for us. Fortunately, I think that's not going to happen as they are marching in and our allies are not present in the numbers we would like them to be. And we have some commentary from our kitties, but unfortunately Mr. Cat is not very good at Europa Universalis, so we are going to disregard his advice altogether. And it looks like the general, rather than reinforcing in Malik, is going to try relieving their fort. I'm guessing that they will win here. They have the better general, they're fighting on their territory, which is a steppe, as a horde. Yeah. Unless this cavalry gets there quickly enough, I would chalk this one up to an Uzbek victory. I think we will win here, however, and that was a pretty good victory. They lost 6,000 cavalry. So, yeah, that probably couldn't have gone too much better. And as expected, our ally, Caravel, did lose that battle. But Oirat has moved their troops west to try dealing with Uzbek, and it looks like they've brought a lot of cavalry and a fairly decent general. This is anyone's game. Looks like the rolls favored our allies. And I quite like that. We need a new advisor, but I think for now I'd rather just keep our money. To that said, we could buy down our war exhaustion if we did get a Diplo advisor. Not going to do that though, so I think we're holding strong. Instead, I will buy this manpower gentleman. The Timurids are quite friendly towards us, but they still do not favor an alliance, even if we were at peace. And Ming we've got topped off. I'm going to befriend Oirat a little more. We'll lose some trust here if we don't give anything to our ally that we promised it to, Caravel. It looks like their war enthusiasm is pretty low. It's good to see. Looks like they'll get out of there before our troops arrive, which is probably good because I think they have the troop advantage, and they certainly have mobility, and that they control this fort. We don't. If we can wipe these... Nope. Would have been nice to wipe these 3,000 troops out. And let's hope that our allies back us up here. So we're going to encourage them to do so. But I think it's going to take them a little while to get there. So we're going to reduce our war exhaustion and hope for the best. So this is the kind of battle that could end the war. 9th of July, I don't know if we can hold that long. And we did. We might still lose this battle. Depends really on how long these troops take to get there and how long our morale holds. And we did lose, and those casualty figures are ugly. I don't like that one bit. Fortunately, we do still have a respectable amount of manpower, so as long as they don't go in for the kill here, we can turn this back around. And they are trying to go in for the kill, so let's take advantage of the fact that we have forts and move around, trying to avoid that Uzbek cavalry-heavy army. We've already seen the damage it can inflict. A scorched earth here, make it harder for them to take our capital. And we're going to lose some legitimacy here. It's not good. Our allies are not standing with us. Would like to hit these 2,000 cavalry without a leader, but unfortunately Uzbek saw that coming. Hopefully we can get them to stop here in Vegetable Lake while we... 3 days, we should be able to hold out and win. I'm not a big fan of how this war is going so far. But I'm wondering if Yarkand would be willing to betray Uzbek. So we better get out of there. And this is going to be ugly. So I think we're going to have to call this war before things get out of hand. Get a province for ourselves. This actually doesn't break our promise. It weakens our enemy, and this will give us a chance to rebuild our armies. Again, not ideal, but we do what we can. Don't have the money to build this fort, but I'd really like to build one if I get the chance. So we're going to drop down that army maintenance. We're going to fire this. No, we'll keep the manpower guy for now. Looks like some of these are expiring, so let's go ahead and get some more. 20 ducats, yeah. Here's where we can now make our army better. And we're actually ahead of time. We don't even have a military focus. And we're going to go for offensive here. It won't be too long before our troops will be competitive with Horde. At least Horde infantry. Still no chance of alliance, and definitely no chance of alliance or even a royal marriage there. But we'll top these relations off. And Caradel is still happy with us. It's a very expensive province for us to get. It's 111. We had to use favors to get it, and we lost a lot of men. So that's certainly a bad trade. However, if a few things would have broken better for us, that would have been nice. Is now we have a temporary truce with Uzbek. And that might ensure that Uzbek goes to war with somebody else, gets distracted, and then we can swoop in and try this again. I'm not really sure what we should be doing with our diplomats. So I guess we'll just fall back on building a spy network. And we could rival Oirat. I don't think that's a smart move at this point. We're still probably warned by... No, we're... Let's see, are we? Yes, we're still warned until December of this year by Ming. And the Wayrod is allied with the Timurids, so that wouldn't work for us. And we're just going to try being opportunistic, wait till we see something happening that we like, and then jump in. Relation with the Timurids have suffered a little. And Timurids are actually going for Kashmir, finally. I'm not looking forward to their invasion of Delhi, if they get that far. And this way we won't have to scorch earth on our capital. It's expensive, takes a few years, and Wayrod is getting beat up. And it looks like they're trying to take out Mongolia. And they seriously underestimated their enemies. There's a lot of that going around. I'm gonna get some more men here. Delhi is at war with Jampur. I don't really like that. I would like to see a balance of power in India, so we can grow in power and then eventually get in there and bully everyone. But I still wish our ally luck. We're really not going to be all too concerned about dealing with inflation. Oh, let's keep relations high. Okay, our land research is definitely not pointless. And we're going to just take a look at Uzbek numbers. They're down to 19,000. They have no manpower. So if they suffer any more revolts, they could be knocked down quite a bit. So it appears that Jampur is handling themselves well on the battlefield. That must feel nice. We'll get there. To claim Urjar. Press an issue, make Uzbek like us less, and that sounds good. Might as well try befriending some other people. Anyone who seems like they're on the upswing is a potential friend. Okay, so we no longer have royal marriage with the Timurids, and they have become hostile towards us again. They've got a very successful, a very promising leader here, and the air looks to be not half bad either. It's a Meltress, so we can expect there to be some conflict. We're pretty far away from our 16th force limit. So I wish nothing but pain on the Timurids. Oirat was knocked down a few steps, a few pegs, and Mongolia is much bigger than it was. They're not exactly friendly with us because we're a different religion, and we're allied to Oirat, who is apparently their rival. Let's try topping relations back off with the Timurids. I'll leave that there for the moment. I can't think of anything better to do with them. Yeah, so we can get some more piety. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. We need 5 more to be able to get our next claim here. I really don't like the fact that they have a leader who has 6 in military. I'm going to make him into a general, and he will be a beast. What do we want? Well, I am quite a fan of teas, so we will continue forward with that idea. Save the tea. I would like this fort, basically to destroy it. Chagatai got broken by rebels, inherited that army, but they retained their alliance. Admin tech, we got decreased costs, so we'll go for that. And we get an idea group. I think it does make sense to take administrative. Would really like quantity, so that we can compete with some of these large neighbors that we have, but I'd rather keep tech parity with military. And I think we should start paying our troops again. So Timurids directly took over Kashmir, and I would not be surprised if their next target is Delhi, who is currently in a war. Uzbek has moved troops to our border, and it wouldn't surprise me too much if they declared on us, as Bengal and Delhi are preoccupied, Oirat is very weak, and we would only have really these little guys to rely on, which is rather amusing that they might be our best allies at the moment. And China does have an emperor ruling again. So I think I will move our troops over to our capital. So I anticipate that we will be at war before long, either from the Timurids or from Uzbek. And there we go. Bengal and Delhi both disregarded it. I think we are going to take out Chagatai. Okay, that was a nice victory. And I think I'll... Are they going for it? Why don't we scorch the earth here if we can? It'll kill some of that cavalry if they try sieging down our capital. It looks like they're eager to do that. And let's see if we can knock out Jagatai. Not quite yet, but they are not far from accepting that offer. So let's see if we can inflict some pain on Uzbek. They do have a lot of cavalry here, and I think we do need to back up our allies. I don't really like doing it in the steppes against a fairly respectable general. Lots of cavalry. But I'm not sure that we really can afford to leave our allies to themselves. Let's see if we can piece these guys out. We can. And that would give us a little bit of prestige. Give us a little bit more prestige and some manpower. And I think I'm going to switch this guy to be a morale of armies. We definitely do need manpower, but we also need to win battles first. And our allies completely abandoned us. So this is going to be very ugly. We won, but as promised, it was ugly. I think we're going to try getting away from this army. And that's not going to work. So we're going to drop the speed a little. Try to start playing a little less sloppy. Yeah. I wished our allies were moving around here. Fortunately, Sergei is sieging their capital. That could work out if we can keep them preoccupied. And it looks like